it looks into the soul of the character in the song and the soul of the city of Toronto. And I lived at 100 Spadina Road, by the way.
Wow. Wow.
So north of Bloor Street, Spadina is called Road, and south of Bloor Street is called Avenue. So I was
Yeah.
just north of Bloor at 100 Spadina Road, not just once in my life, 2 times in my life. In my mid-20s and then in my mid-40s, I moved back because something always made me gravitate towards that part of Toronto. It's a lovely, lovely, maybe the best part of Toronto.
Hi and welcome to the Crazy Angels podcast with Pascal, Dennis and David Logan. Hey guys.
Hi y'all.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Good to see you all. And today we're going to talk about a classic song of the Crazy Angels band, Come to Your Window, Sarah. And let's start off by giving it a short listen. So I'm gonna give it to you, David, to play something.
And I'll just quickly say, it really is a classic song because this is like we're 6 albums in now and 6 years into this. So this is off our first album. So this is definitely a classic. There we go.
Come to your window, Sarah, and I would take you for a ride. Steal out your window, Sarah. We'll go down the sunny side. Come to your window, Sarah. Your daddy says that I'm a bum. I know you love me, Sarah. One day I'd take you from this slum. For the sweatshop women down on Adelaide and the market pigeon.
Go.
Beauty.
That song always gets me.
Yeah, man. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a classic.
I have to ask you, Pascal, what inspired this story and who are these characters in it?
So my family and David's family were refugees, were immigrants. In my family's case, after World War I and after World War II, my grandfather, Pascali, with an I, came to America in 1920. And I have the ship's manifest and the ship in the studio, a place of pride. So it's a song about the trauma, the heartbreak, the catastrophe of immigration. And the protagonist is a World War II orphan. It's set in the early 1950s in Kensington Market in Toronto's iconic Spadina Avenue. And he loves this girl and he's calling out to her. It's also a love song to Spadina Avenue. And I grew up in Spadina. And for me, it's a very emotional song. It expresses the trauma of so many waves of immigrants, and it's going on to this very day, and especially the trauma of Eastern European immigrants, which is where my family and I know David's family come from. The history of immigration in Toronto and in Canada is not a proud one or a happy one. In the lyric sheet, I go into the history in some detail. I won't do that now, but I'll say that 1918, there was one of the world's biggest anti-Greek riots. It was a pogrom that destroyed the Greek businesses of the city, and they ended up having to move to Danforth Avenue, where they are now. 1933, there was the infamous Christie Pitts riot, when a baseball team of Anglo kids were taunting this team of Jewish and Italian kids, and they were waving the swastika. And the Jewish and Italian boys gave as good as they got. It was a massive riot, up to 20,000 people, and it lasted all day. Nobody was killed, thankfully, but this was the history of intolerance and anti-immigrant anger. Um, so that's the background of this song. And in the second verse, in fact, we use in the chorus a couple of slurs that were used to denigrate Jewish and Italian immigrants. And David and I debated, should we leave them in? Because they're offensive slurs. On the other hand,
Sure.
that's what the kids were hearing, and that's what the young
Exactly.
boy, the orphan, is hearing. So this is very emotional for me because it's part of my family history. But it's a true song, and it's a song about redemption and survival. And you know this kid and Sarah are going to do okay and make a life for themselves. So that's a bit of background. It's very emotional for me, and the uh, arrangement captures that. And I know my family feels the same way. I have a hard time listening to it sometimes. Anyhow, that's a
Yeah.
little bit of background. By the way, folks, if you want to download the lyric sheet and the backstory, you can on
Mm.
our website. The other thing I wanted to say before I
Mm.
pass the baton is, as David said, we've made 6 records now, and which is
Technically seven.
remarkable.
Technically seven.
Technically 7, but we've not focused on promoting until the last year or so. So we're going to delve into our catalog and
Mm.
share these with you in the months to come, in addition to new songs and new albums that we're releasing.
Mm.
So this is the first of many of our catalog, and one that's very close to my heart. So look for those. And with that, I'll
Mhm.
pass the baton to my dear friend and colleague David, and then to Levi.
Mhm. Yeah. I guess I just wanted to quickly add on to the thing about, the racial slurs and stuff. Like, Picasso's Guernica is one of the ugliest, beautiful paintings in the world, right? Like, it shows pure violence, the horrors of war. And it's an artist's job to depict, right? It's an artist's job to tell the story. And yeah, Pascal and I really debated over, should we leave those in or should we leave them out? And in the end, my opinion and the consensus generally between us was, Pascal's an artist. He's got to express, and use those words because they're hurtful words. But it's clear in the song, this is a tender, gentle ballad. It looks into the soul of the character in the song and the soul of the city of Toronto. And I lived at 100 Spadina Road, by the way.
Wow, wow.
So north of Bloor Street, Spadina is called Road, and south of Bloor Street is called Avenue. So I was
Yeah,
just north of Bloor at 100 Spadina Road, not just once in my life, 2 times in my life. In my mid-20s and then in my mid-40s, I moved
yeah,
back because
yeah,
something always made me gravitate towards that part of Toronto. It's a lovely, lovely,
yeah.
maybe the best part of Toronto. Anyway,
If I could very
yeah.
quickly add, sorry to interject. My dad's first job was as a dishwasher at Grossman's Tavern, which
Hmm.
is an iconic uh, restaurant, bar, blues bar, and Al Grossman gave him his first job, and Al Grossman and his family are revered by our family to this day.
Hmm.
And I wore hand-me-downs from the Grossman family, so very close to
Hmm.
me.
Sure. Yeah. Anyway, and I guess to sort of close off this thing, because I think it's worth, our words here, but it's clear we're not making a song a racist song. That's not what we're doing here. We're showing the ugliness of what racism looked like, and sometimes you have to creatively take a risk, and that's what Pascal did, and I back him on it. And that's why I'm just saying, a few words, because and thankfully, when I was growing up in Toronto, that whole thing had passed, and it was all about racial unity and racial harmony and
Yeah,
multiculturalism and everybody was a different color in your classroom and nobody
yeah,
cared, thankfully. But yeah, there was
thankfully.
a rough and ugly part history of Toronto with that. So we're just painting the story.